Greetings, everyone, and welcome into One Oak Field, where tonight the Tulsa Roughnecks will take on the Austin Bowl, the expansion side in the USL Championship, as we turn the calendar to the month of June. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Jeremy Poplin, joined by my friend and partner, Dave Saunders. I won't mention tonight that Liverpool did win too many times on the broadcast, Dave, during the Champions League final, but here we are back at One Oak Field for the first time in over a month. And the main storyline coming into tonight's matchup is Road Warriors for the Tulsa Roughnecks. Dave, they haven't been here in a month, but yet they go on the road, some extremely difficult places to play, and they get points. And we know how important that is during that difficult road stretch.
Yeah, points on the road and then win your games at home, and that's exactly what the Roughnecks are doing. They're making One Oak a fortress, but as you say, they're getting hard to beat now, Pop, on the road.
As we move into tonight's match, as we highlight the players that we'll keep an eye on this evening, we'll start first on the Austin Bowl side with Diego Restrepo. Just a vet. That's the one way to describe him. He's been one of the best keepers that we've seen in USL for the past several seasons.
He's a fantastic keeper, the Venezuelan. We've seen him, as you said, make some fantastic saves. We've seen him play here at One Oak. We've seen him play on the USL broadcast. He is a fantastic goalkeeper, and the Roughnecks are going to have to do well to beat him tonight.
And the storyline for the Roughnecks is how much better that they've been playing in the back four, and that's why we're highlighting Cyprian Hedrick tonight, besides having the captain's armband on with the Pride colors, because it is Pride Week here with the Pride Parade happening in downtown Tulsa, but he is the man that controls everything there in the back.
Yeah, great signing for the Roughnecks. I think Mike Ensign, fantastic signing. Hard to the defence, he's your captain, and that's why they've been difficult to beat on the road and difficult to beat here at One Oak.
In the standings, Roughnecks out west are in 6th and Austin in 12th after having a rough past couple of weeks besides that win in the Open Cup, moving on to take on the Houston Dynamo. When we come back, we'll have the starting 11 for you next here as we get set for Tulsa and Austin here live from One Oak Field.
My name is Abigail Bailey. I was at my yearly checkup when I was 12, and we went and got x-rays, and she diagnosed me with scoliosis and that we needed surgery as soon as possible.
Tulsa Bone and Joint was very compassionate. They took their time with us. They answered questions. He was very encouraging.
Dr. Clark helped me see that there is life after spinal fusion. Just because your spine is fused doesn't mean that you can't do what you love to do.
I'm Chad Smith with Becco Contractors. As an employer, we're always worried about new employees coming to the job and not being aware of their surroundings and just not knowing what they're really doing because it's a new job site. So the partnership with Tulsa Tech has really helped us take that worry out of the equation. We know that they're fully trained and ready to go by the time they show up on the job.
How was school today?
Mrs. Smith, what are you doing?
Recycling.
You can't put plastic bags in the blue recycling cart. But you can recycle this milk jug. You can recycle stuff from all over the house.
You can recycle this empty box.
What about these hangers?
Just aluminum and steel cans, paper and cardboard, plastic bottles and jugs,
glass bottles and jars.
To learn more, check out TulsaRecycles.com.
First meeting between the two regular season, first meeting of the regular season in here in USL, as we also have somewhat of a rematch that will take place between the two sides, Dave, from the Open Cup. And as we look at the Austin Bold starting 11, we talked about Diego Restrepo, who's in the net, who has been one of the best keepers of the entire USL over the past couple of weeks or past couple of years. But we're also paying attention to several others, including Mr. Lima up top, and always keeping an eye on Kleber because he has proven throughout his career, Dave, that he has been a difference maker.
Absolutely right. Good evening, everybody, on a beautiful night here, weather-wise, at downtown Tulsa. Yeah, you're absolutely right. Restrepo, we know what he's like. We've already talked about him. 48 appearances for San Antonio. Now he's with the Austin Bold. And here's the Roughnecks coming up now, but they're going to have to watch Lima. And they do spread the goals around to Austin Bold.
Steidehar in between the posts this evening, along with Lobo, Hedrick, Roberts. You see there Mr. Jeff Adai as well at the midfield, Rodrigo DaCosta and Janu Silva up top there for the Roughnecks here this evening. It's been 1 month since we've been back at One Oak Field. The Roughnecks have been road warriors, earning a point on this last road trip that saw them head to the likes of Fresno and Las Vegas and San Antonio. Very important for them. Still here about the third of the way through the USL Championship season to keep pace with the leaders at the top of the table there in the West, which is New Mexico United. More on them coming up in a bit, but settling in for tonight's match with the Austin Bold, and a bit of possession here in the early going for Austin, and that one, a bit of a lackadaisical clearance there by Mr. Malin Roberts, and results in a deep throw-in now for Austin Bold.
Yeah, it's an important night for both clubs, isn't it? Austin Bold, what are they, 12th, and looking for some form on the road especially, and a big night for the Roughnecks, who are unbeaten at home, and they want to make sure they get the 3 points at home tonight.
Long throw into Steidehar, comes off of his line to punch that one away. First look up the line for DaCosta. Janu Silva, who is offsides as the flag is up from the assistants on the far side of the field. Our referee tonight is Luis Guardia. Truman Berghall, one assistant. The other assistant, Jack Ryan Feldman, and Nathan Colline will be the fourth here this evening as we welcome you in to downtown Tulsa at One Oak Field, the sun-splashed One Oak Field.
Yep, 86 degrees it was on kickoff. Some night, weather-wise here.
Janu Silva was in the offsides position one more time as that ball was sent through. Settled it with his chest there, and that's a key piece to the Roughnecks attack that we've seen several times so far this season, is Janu playing in that striker position. Great at bringing that ball down and then distributing.
Yeah, Janu Silva, 4 goals. Got his season going goals-wise, but as you say, it's been right from the word go, holding the ball up. He plays as the lone striker in Mike Ensign's 4-2-3-1 formation. A few little fouls in this first couple of minutes.
Mr. Manny Gonzalez, guilty of this one. Already has a talking to there from our censor. It's been a struggle, to say the least, for Austin on the road so far this season. Only 3 goals scored on the road so far in league play. They've struggled offensively in general so far in the season, but away from home, it is an area that they definitely need to tighten up on if they want to continue to contend for one of those playoff spots here in the Western table.
Yeah, big night for them. I was saying to you off air, Pop, 6 of the 10 outfield players have all got at least 1 goal. So they do spread the goals around, but certainly need some goals on the road.
It is a veteran-laden bunch from Austin, as they will now switch to the opposite side. Long ball looking forward there. Settled to the opposite side of the pitch. Calling for it there is Lima. Good movement so far from Austin here in the early going. Saramutin, dribbler inside the box. Steidehar has it.
Yeah, Saramutin's seen a lot of the ball inside the first 4 minutes. One of the playmakers for Austin Bold.
Here's Hedrick one more time to Silva, using that chest, bringing the ball down. Nice little give and go there from Gonzalez. Janu continuing on his run. Looking at some of the stats from Janu Silva, he is one of the leaders with completed passes on the offensive end for the Roughnecks, and that is simply because he uses that frame quite well. And that's Cyprian Hedrick, who's going to get a card here, the captain, who had some choice words here for Guardia, our center official. He was called for a foul as he just essentially shoved Kleber out of the way, and then had something to say to the referee as he went by, and that is what earned him that yellow.
Yeah, Cyprian Hedrick there, flailing arm. I think earlier on, actually, in the first part of the game, Kleber was claiming that he was pushed off the ball. Now he's having a big conversation with Hedrick. Hedrick's a very honest player, but the referee was right there, showed the yellow card, and the referee laying down the law early on in this game.
Definitely a bit of a break in character from the captain. Don't normally see him lose his cool in an instance like that. Two-man wall for the Roughnecks. Steidehar shouting out instructions. Ball curling in towards the far post. Steidehar slices through the air and takes that one in front of Kleber.
Well, Steidehar is a very safe pair of hands. Had a good game in the 0-0 draw against Las Vegas Lights in the last game. Steady game, good to get hold of the ball early on if you're a goalkeeper.
Well, and we'll keep an eye on Guadarrama as well, because he was lethal in that Open Cup match with San Antonio FC from Wednesday night, the 4-2 victory for Austin. Then the draw came out, and they have Houston Dynamo in the next round of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. It was down between Houston and FC Dallas. The Energy drew FC Dallas. Of course, they will play there at Westcott at SMU, much like the Roughnecks did, 2 years ago when they made that stage. DaCosta. Tried to take on two members of the Austin Bowl. Might have gotten away with one there, but they will give the throw-in now to the Roughnecks.
Yeah, DaCosta very good on the ball, but for him that was tight space, wasn't it? And it results in a throw-in for Moses McKinday, who seems to have got his left back spot back from Mike Ensian in a pretty settled back four for the Roughnecks.
That's an area of vast improvement for this Tulsa side, is the back line. Seems like they have really rounded into form over the past couple of weeks. Now have conceded a few on the road, but major difference in what we have seen from the beginning of the season.
Well, I think you go back to the second game of the season at Orange County. They won the game 5-3. It's Promise Isaac down, isn't it? You know, they won the game 5-3, but conceding those 3 goals, and then they lost 4-2 at LA Galaxy, followed up by a 3-1 defeat at Fresno. So 7 goals in 2 games, and it's something that Mike Ensian and his coaching staff has certainly worked on. And we alluded to Cyprian Hedrick in the build-up, but it's also he's part of a back four and then a very good goalkeeper behind him. So it's a lot more difficult to score on the Roughnecks.
Isaac is up and okay, the 30-year-old Nigerian. Part of that silver medal winning team in the 2008 Beijing Olympics. Was one of the early signings for Austin Bold. Half dozen of their early signees have suited up for their national squads.
including Saramutin, the Russian, who's in the starting 11 tonight for Austin. Searching ball forward there, looking for Silva. And a diagonal ball played towards the corner. Quick little look there from Kleber as he looked to the assistant. Assistant didn't give him one way or the other whether or not he was going to raise the flag, and then when he continued on his pursuit of that ball, that's immediately when the flag went up.
And absolutely correct officiating. That's what the ARs are told to do these days. They leave it, and then what they do is they put the flag up when a player makes a run towards the ball, and Kleber there had to wait, and he kept looking, and it was the correct decision.
Great diagonal ball from the corner of the 18 now. Run coming into the box, played off of one defender, sent skyward by Cyprian Hedrick. So too was that run inside the 18.
Yeah, that was a great run from Sotu. He's got the left-hand side to work tonight. It's his first start, actually, of the season for Austin Bold. Will want to take it in front of his coach tonight.
Silva with the touch there, trying to get in front of Guadarrama. Did beat him to that ball, but results in a throw-in now for the Bold. Jeff Adai, quiet so far here in the first 11 minutes for the Tulsa side. Switch to McKinday. McKinday has some space. Almost slotted that perfectly there, looking for Montpremier.
Yeah, been very impressed with Austin Bold inside this first 11 minutes. Here's a chance.
Dead sprint now. Cyprian Hedrick has to try to fight back. Coming over to help is Malin Roberts. His hands full there with Isaac.
Well, that's what a good centre-back pairing does, isn't it? You help each other out. If the ball's played over the top of one, there's the other one to help out. And Roberts and Hedrick have formed a good partnership back there for the Roughnecks.
One bounce now. Silva has a chance to get to it. He does. Poked away from him at the last minute.
Yeah, Taylor there was just holding up his hand to his keeper, Restrepo, who's not really touched the ball yet, by the way, Restrepo. And he said, I shouldn't have let that bounce. You're right.
Well, it's tough to judge on that end of the field. And you will see that at any opportunity that there's a free kick on that end of the field. The sun that Restrepo is having to deal with right now, and the Bold defenders. Typically a sigh of relief once the sun goes down over the portion of the stadium here at One Oak.
Austin Bold have done very well to strangle the play for the Roughnecks here, and here they are again down in this quarter of the field with a throw in down the right-hand side because they're shutting the ball down.
Steidehar, really no trouble whatsoever from that header from Kleber.
Yeah, Kleber just backing away then. It's one of those, it's very hard to get the purchase on the ball when you're backing away. Good ball in from Baez though.
Lion's share of possession so far has been in favor of the visitors. Here in the 14th. Long throw in from Steidehar. Roughnecks have been very one-dimensional so far. Most of their offense has gone through 99. I've not seen them try to control much of the pace or possession of the ball so far here in the early going. DaCosta. Tackled off the ball. Referee says play on. Rodrigo extremely upset. Isaac settles. Has some options now. Little flick on inside the box. Roberts will shield and does a good job of that as McFarland run up from the back line, trying to challenge. And a goal kick now for Stuyvesant.
Yeah, Sean McFarland, experienced player, former Colorado switchbacks player, making the runs up from the right back spot. It's a very fluid formation for Austin Bold. Very difficult for the Roughnecks players to pick them up at the moment. Well, Silva's been looking for a free kick right from the beginning of the game, and he feels that he's had a few shoves in the back. This one, the referee goes with him, so a chance for the Roughnecks to get the likes of Luca Lobo on the ball here.
Typically, when you get that first foul call that you've been looking for, you feel not only comfortable in that moment about that foul call, but it almost like it breaks the ice and gets the attention a little bit more of the referee. And that might play a bit to Janu Silva's advantage here, as Mr. DaCosta standing over the top of this ball. Had a brilliant goal at San Antonio. We'll tell you more about his story, unique story after the San Antonio match as well. Played into the area. Restrepo punches out of the 18. Throwing now for McKinday.
And that free kick, we've seen plenty of times Luca Lobo get on the end of those this season. Lobo, for those people that don't know, 7 goals this season from his right back berth. Mostly on the end of free kicks.
Outside of the box, Tulsa has a chance to settle here. Altamirano, haven't had many chances to call his name. One little touch there from DaCosta. Altamirano, and a goal from an incredible angle. Christian Altamirano, not exactly sure how from that angle he found the backside of the net, but the Roughnecks will strike first here in the 17th minute from Christian Altamirano.
Well, Christian Altamirano will never tell you whether he meant that or not. We'll have to see the replay. What we do know is his 4th goal of the season, and he just struck it with his right foot there after a little interchange down the right-hand side. The first time really Altamirano's seen the ball. Here's the replay, and we'll just see it. Is that a cross? Is that a shot? You'll have to ask him afterwards.
It kissed off the post. And from the angle that we're at, David, looked even more of a steeper angle from our vantage point here. I mean, we're essentially in the corner of the stadium. And seeing there wasn't quite as sharp of an angle, but you're right. And if I'm Altamirano, of course that's a shot. More importantly, they're on the board first.
Yeah, Christian, and really against the run of play, Austin Bold have been, the lion's share of the possession. Here they come again now. Goal down.
Little flick cleared forward. Here's Janu Silva, chance to run onto it, and the assistant's flag is up. It's the 3rd time that Silva has been offsides here in the early portion.
Yeah, Austin Bold push up, don't they? They rely on the likes of Akugo and Taylor, McFarland to push up and catch, as you say. Janu Silva's been off now 3 times.
Not much Restrepo could do on that goal, Dave.
No, Restrepo will tell you that's a lucky goal. And I have to say, from that angle, it probably was. He was probably trying to play it, a little cross into the box, but hey, you take them, don't you? Because you're so unlucky. If you have a shot, which is a great shot, and you hit the post on the bar, you're unlucky. So strikers will say, well, I'll take all the luck I can. But, Altamirano, he may well have meant it.
That's the 14th goal conceded by Austin so far this season. Michael Ensian got up off the bench for a minute. He was yelling at his back line to move forward. Thought that they were perched a tad bit too deep when the ball was in the far end there for Austin. talked about how important that this match is for both sides. Tulsa, after riding this 5-game unbeaten streak that they're on, you come back home, you want to come away with 3 points, especially from the expansion side that's coming in, an expansion side that has proven to be difficult at times. But with the pace that New Mexico United is playing at right now, even with a game in hand, with 13 played, and they do not play again until midweek, but with 24 points and the Roughnecks setting at 17, it's important to try to keep as much pace as you can in a year in which, quite frankly, has caught several people by surprise to see Tulsa currently sitting where they are in the table.
Yeah, there's a few clubs in different positions that we're not sure why they're there, and one of the things that the Roughnecks have done is to build it, as we said, on a goalkeeper and good defence, but they're under, that defence is under the cosh a little bit here now against a very impressive Austin Bold side. I mean, everybody's impressed so far that we've seen, and it's very difficult to pick, certainly a winner, and there's not many points in that middle part of the table, is there? So it's going to be a very tight season, but you're right, you've got to keep pace with the top guys.
DaCosta tripped up at 5 yards before he got to the halfway line.
Now, again, I have to say, I don't like players going to the referee and asking for cards. I think we need to see that out of the game. Don't like to see that at all.
Well, Kugo, the guilty party there. DaCosta, by the way, after this San Antonio match, all flights were canceled, and we'll tell you more of the story about what we've been dealing with here in the Tulsa area, or in the 918 area code, as we move along throughout the evening. But we've had a significant amount of weather, and Tulsa's flight back home from San Antonio was canceled after their draw. Rodrigo DaCosta is getting married the next day in Miami. He was supposed to fly out and meet his bride-to-be there in Miami, in the entire wedding party. Well, all those flights were canceled. So he had a couple of options. One of those was, he even said, I thought about taking an Uber from San Antonio to Dallas. Not quite exactly sure what the rate would have been on that. They could have rented a car, and he could have drove to try to make his flight to land in Miami. Well, that's when Jonathan Milwee, the trainer for the Roughnecks, stepped up and drove the 278 miles, 4+ hours from San Antonio to DFW to make sure that Mr. DaCosta got on a flight and was able to make his wedding in time the next day there in Miami. So it was a great story, and that's one of the things that I miss with no longer being on the road with the Roughnecks, are stories like that. But it's truly not only a team effort, but it's a family effort as well. These guys come to know and love each other and respect each other, and Jonathan Milwee stepped up in a big way as soon as that match was over there in San Antonio to make sure that Rodrigo got there. Everything went fine, and I'm sure that they're looking forward to their first opportunity to take a true honeymoon. Good work there from Luca Lobo.
Yeah, it just gives us a chance to say well done to all the backroom staff, the people we don't see in front of the cameras necessarily on the field, but they do such great work for all the USL clubs, and we thank them, because without you guys there would be pretty much no football in front of us, would there? So well done to you guys. Congratulations to Rodrigo.
We will have a hydration break coming up at the 35th minute. Rather balmy day here in the city of Tulsa. That's when we will kind of go through what we've gone through in the last week or so here in this city and across this state, with some severe weather and historic flooding. Diagonal ball played through on a dead run. Trying to find that far post run, able to save it, and out of play there is McKinday, and I thought that that was an opportunity there where you might see a little bit more of a selfish play instead of trying to lay that ball off for McFarland, who was making the dead run.
Well, I think the coach will be furious because the man on the ball here, Guadarrama, should have been more selfish. You're absolutely right. Sarah Putin's gone down there looking for a penalty, but he said he was clipped on the back. But yeah, you're right. I was surprised he played the ball across. Maybe a shot on goal at least sting the palms of the goalkeeper.
Difficult to tell from his position. Maybe he thought that Steidehar had things covered up there, but a very difficult ball to connect on. Was seeing how far from the back that McFarland was making that run. Good positioning there from Lobo, and the assistance flag is up for offsides. You can tune into ESPN News on Wednesday, June 5th for Wednesday Night Soccer when the OKC Energy travels to Albuquerque to face current Western Conference leaders New Mexico United. It's the week's best match on Wednesday Night Soccer, June 5th on ESPN News. Oklahoma City playing better as of late. They have crept their way in front of the Roughnecks by 1 point, 18 points going into tonight. They have a match with Los Dos down the turnpike at Taft. Several of the teams in front of Tulsa at the top of the table in the West have the night off. I have a rundown of some of those scores for you coming up at halftime. Here in the 27th minute, fourth goal of the season from Christian Altamirano in the 17th has given the Roughnecks the 1-0 lead.
And really, it's the only chance that the Roughnecks have had on Restrepo's goal, isn't it? Such has been the, should we say, the dominance from Austin Bold of the possession of the football in this first 26.5 minutes.
68% possession so far for Austin. It's been a rough month for the Bold. They were in playoff position. And then this rough stretch outside of their success in the Open Cup finds them coming into tonight, setting in 12th. Marcelo Serrano not particularly worried at this point. Here's Isaac. Isaac looked like he was going to have an attempt from there off of one of the Bold players who's in an offsides position. That's Lima.
Yeah, couldn't really get out the way of the ball there, Lima. But, of course, as soon as it hit him, he's involved in the play, and he was clearly in an offside position.
.33-year-old Lima, quite the history that he's had. DaCosta. Should be a handball on Christian. It is. Back to Lima. 33, 88 goals and 28 assists in over 280 professional appearances, Dave.
Yeah, he's got, 3 goals this season. He's clearly somebody, you've got to keep your eye on. Hasn't had a lot of the ball to feet tonight.
No.
But he's working hard for the Austin Bold team.
As we mentioned, it's a bit of a different look for Austin. You look at Guadarrama, who's 31, Lima, who's 33, Glaber, who's 35. It's definitely an interesting approach. It reminds you a little bit of early stages USL and back in the USL Pro days. But they went with their approach, which was, hey, we want experience. And a lot of these individuals that they signed experience not only from MLS level, but various portions of the world. And so far, it's been rather a unique experiment that's been kind of fun to watch, quite frankly.
An experience is a great thing, isn't it? Mixed in with some youth. That's a foul. Jeff Adai there, just slightly late. But compared to the Roughnecks, I think I'm right in saying Cyprian Hedrick is probably the oldest player. Most of the Roughnecks players, if not all of them outside Cyprian, I think are in their 20s.
This surface here at One Oak was used earlier today. The ladies from Fortuna had an early morning game. Played wide now. McKinday over there for the challenge.
Yes, should say congratulations to Fortuna Tulsa girls. They were 2-1 down and scored 2 goals to win that one 3-2. Their last goal was scored in the second minute of injury time, second minute of 3. So a great time to score a goal and win a game. Were there any other games on today that you want to talk about?
Oh, I don't know. I think it was a rather laid-back day in the world of soccer.
I think we're going to have a
This will be the hydration break.
Yeah.
And that does give us a chance. Yes, was astutely tuned in to Champions League today.
Wasn't a classic, my friend, but your team that you follow, congratulations.
As a Liverpool fan, obviously you will take the win, but haven't we learned the lesson before that the semifinals typically have been the much better matches? And if you're complaining about that match today, maybe not living up to expectations or not being the most visually pleasant thing to tune in and watch, I think you casually forget the amazing run-up that both of those teams had, essentially coming down to tiebreaker in the group stage to even advance. From what happened with Ajax to Barcelona, in those that was a crazy tournament, and yes, it didn't live up to it. But not every game is going to be something that's pleasant to watch, and I felt like that Klopp and Liverpool really used past failures today to kind of set the stage for their victory. They get the early PK that Salah converts on, and from that point forward, it's 75 minutes of masterclass defense. Now, they had to hang on there at the end, and tactics aside, they paid Allison a ton of money for a reason, and that was on full display from the final 10 to 15 minutes. That's exactly why you paid that guy, to not have what happened last year happen again. And it worked out for him, and I'm happy for him. They're first since 2005. They're sixth now, and for a year in which you finished second in the Premiership to Man City, and maybe one of the more incredible head-to-head, rivalries that those two had leading up, you scored 97 points. I'm not on teams deserving things, Dave, and maybe I have my Homer glasses on for Liverpool, but maybe they did in fact deserve that after the season that they've had.
I agree with you. I agree with everything you've said. Semi-finals are often the games that should be the finals, and then a final, you don't want to make a mistake. You just want to win the competition, and no Liverpool fan will complain today that it wasn't a classic. And well done, Jurgen Klopp, because they were so unlucky in a freaky season, wasn't it, that they lose out by 1 point to Manchester City. Congratulations to them. They are the Champions League finalist. And here's Montpellier.
Montpellier, a dead run. Restrepo with a great save, and Restrepo is upset because if we go back on the replay, I think you will see that Montpremier maybe got away with a handball, and that caused the one-on-one opportunity, but Diego up to the challenge.
Yeah, there's Restrepo saying he used his left arm, ref, to good effect. And then Montpremier just couldn't finish off. Hasn't been a regular starter, Montpremier.
Does set up a Red Crown Credit Union corner kick here for the Roughnecks. DaCosta, curling ball, headed out of the box. Montpremier had a chance at it. Has to quickly hustle back, and a good save. DaCosta, not many options there. Finally found Lobo. 36th minute. Hedrick took a shot from behind.
Well, Kleber was upset that he didn't get his free kick, and you could almost see that coming, couldn't you? He was frustrated, and then he just ran into the back of Cyprian Hedrick.
Out to Morano, who's on sides. Out to Morano, that one. I think Restrepo got his right hand on it.
Well, the referee's given a goal kick, so I don't know who that hit. But I thought, like you, he got a hand on that.
We'll see here on the replay. Watch his right hand. Tough to tell from there. We might be able to see on that reverse angle the next opportunity that we get.
But that will be a concern for Austin Bold, that Alto Moreno now has got in that position twice now, hasn't he? One for the goal and then another one there. So things for Soto to sort out at left back. We'll see it here. Does he get a touch? That's a great angle there. No, absolutely right, referee. I don't think there was a save.
How about the reflex and also awareness of Diego there not to get a piece of that one? Realizing that it was going to go wide. Have a throw in here for Austin. Good look at McKinday for the Roughnecks. McKinday coming into tonight's 606 minutes. This is his 9th appearance and 8th start on the season. Adai back to Roberts. Good work there in tight space from Roberts, also Gonzalez. Bit too much there from Manny Gonzalez.
Well, if you're an Austin Bold fan tuning in and watching this on ESPN Plus, you must be very pleased with your team's performance possession-wise. And you must be a little bit upset that your team is 1-0 down. If you're a Roughnecks fan, of course, you're delighted to take the goal. But you're watching a very good team here at One Oak in Austin Bold.
Roughnecks undefeated at home so far at One Oak. Austin suffering their first loss at home to New Mexico United last weekend. And somewhat of a fortress for them there in the Austin area. First touch from Kleber failed him. Long ball played in over the top here. Silva trying to get to it. It's an attempt, well over the top of the bar from McFarland. McKinday was with him step for step. And a goal kick now for the Roughnecks. Gives us a chance, Dave, for a brief moment to talk about what all of us here in eastern Oklahoma have been going through, and that has been the not only devastating weather, 41 confirmed tornadoes so far here in Oklahoma over the past week, plus historic flooding. We refer to it as the 100-year flood, and we are currently going through that right now with the Arkansas River that runs directly through downtown. Several other rivers that feed into it, whether it's a navigation channel like the Verdigris River and where the Arkansas also turns into the navigation port. But as high as 44 feet above normal for some of the folks in the Arkansas River Valley. Many people have been forced from their homes, and our thoughts are with them. And it has also impacted the sports community here in Tulsa as well, from BA Soccer Club and several of the not only soccer surfaces but baseball diamonds as well, covered up by some of the flooding. And we'll hope to bring you some of those images coming up a little bit later in the broadcast. But it's been one for the books, and we've had 2 days now, or 2 or 3 days of sunshine in a row where we've had blue skies, and almost felt like that was not only a sense of relief but also a form of therapy for those that are dealing with some of the conditions right now. Stidehar has that one easily off of the deflection.
Yeah, it's been pretty rough, and when you see aid arriving in trucks, into the city of Tulsa, you realize just how bad it is. And some people have been forced from their homes, as you say, and getting help from communities. What you do see, of course, through this, Pop, is a wonderful community aspect, isn't it?
And we'll have a chance now to see some of those images. Austin now will keep a bit of the possession. Looking over the top, trying to find Lima. Lima gets to it first. Nothing doing, though, and DaCosta hacked down there in the center circle, a foul. Roughnecks will take advantage of this from the center of the pitch. Tadai will leave it for Gonzalez. Mom Premier out there all alone. Has some space. He will make a run at the defender. Steps over. Cuts back away from the byline.
Again, that's good defending from Austin Bold. Not really anywhere that Montprenier could go. And Austin Bold squeezed the ball, the space, and now they're on the attack again.
Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the finest leagues in the world. Since 1947, they have been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com.
I think if you're coach Marcelo Serrano, the head coach of Austin Bold, I think the one thing you want is somebody on the end of your crosses. There's been some poor crosses, but there's been some good ones. And they just want some clear-cut opportunity on the Roughnecks goal. And they dearly love to score one now as we come up to the 45 minutes played in this one.
I'll leave it here for McFarland. Kleber. McFarland's curling ball deflected, and the referee will point towards goal kick for the Roughnecks. Thought that it had a chance there to maybe come off of the defender, and Isaac did as well.
Yeah, goal kick. The Roughnecks will take it and will go in, hopefully, from their point of view, 1-0 up. But Austin Bold will hope there might be one last chance in this first half where they can equal the game up.
Should have a decent portion of time added on. Some of the injuries that we've had.
Plus, I think the clock keeps running in the hydration break as well, so... Been quite scrappy, isn't it? Littered with fouls all over the field.
3 minutes of time added on as the board will be held up here by the fourth. This has been an area where Austin's had a fair share of the ball played in from the back line. Roughnecks have done a good job, even after they've been beat, with that space here towards the corner flag of not allowing much space inside the 18. DaCosta had that one taken away from him. Roughnecks had an opportunity there to use their numbers, unable to do so. This play there by Lobo. Hedrick, one of the only defenders that's left, could not fit that ball through. Okugo with a golden opportunity, and now an attempt from distance that is well over the bars. Baez.
Well, Austin Boulder keep knocking on the door here. They're getting closer, and the half-time whistle might just come at the right time for the Roughnecks here. Just have to soak up a little bit of pressure, but you're looking at a very impressive Austin Bold side who play well through the midfield. They just want one of those experienced guys up front, the likes of Kleber or Lima, to put a finishing touch to one of their moves. Important team talks coming up from both coaches here in this one.
It's almost as if, Dave, Austin is just not comfortable. You know, there's a diving header attempt from Montpremier, but several chances inside the box for Austin, and you would think at some point someone's going to let one of those go, but trying to be unselfish at this point when maybe they should be a tad bit more selfish, and it might be one of the reasons why they've scored as few goals as they have so far on the season.
And you wonder whether someone like Chris Tierpak could come on and open up the defence and be that selfish person that they need. It's a good point you make.
The train rumbles through downtown Tulsa. Ball played in over the top. Hedrick out for the immediate challenge against Baez. A corner now for Austin Bold.
And this must be probably the last action of the first half.
Bodies forward for Austin. Montpremier went down, yeah.
Montpremier went down. Good header out just before that by Malin Roberts.
Referee has the whistle, and that will do it for the first half. That train rolling through the background reminds me of playing at Starfire against S2 when it would rumble by. The goal by Altamirano has been the difference so far here in the 17th minute to give the home side the 1-0 lead as we head into the locker room here at halftime. And as you mentioned, Dave, pretty important conversations will be had coming up, not only with the Austin side of things, but with the Roughnecks as well, because things started to get a little loose there towards the end of that first half for the home side, even though they have the 1-0 lead here going into break. We'll take a timeout, and we'll have the halftime show coming up for you next, live from downtown Tulsa as the Roughnecks lead Austin Bold 1-0.
was at my yearly checkup when I was 12, and we went and got x-rays, and she diagnosed me with scoliosis and that we needed surgery as soon as possible.
Tulsa Bone and Joint was very compassionate. They took their time with us. They answered questions. He was very encouraging.
Dr. Clark helped me see that there is life after spinal fusion. Just because your spine is fused doesn't mean that you can't do what you love to do.
I'm Chad Smith with Becco Contractors. As an employer, we're always worried about new employees coming to the job and not being aware of their surroundings and just not knowing what they're really doing because it's a new job site. So the partnership with Tulsa Tech has really helped us take that worry out of the equation. We know that they're fully trained and ready to go by the time they show up on the job.
What does it take to be a champion? Skill, strength, vision, an unrelenting desire to prove your worth week in, week out. An army of fans behind you screaming your name. And sometimes just a bit of luck. For 631 games over the course of the next 9 months, 22 players will step on the field to answer the question, why will it be you and not them? And the 36 teams, from the champions of yesterday to the challengers of tomorrow, only one will be right.
Statesboro, it's like this little oasis of a location.
I think Statesboro loves itself. It's the first thing I would say.
This is a win for the community. Not only are we getting a professional level soccer team, a sport that's loved around the world, but we are now creating an economic development area that's going to have a huge impact on our community and throughout this region.
I'm not surprised, to be honest, that Tormenta was one of the first teams approached when League One came about. I think it was blatantly obvious to everyone that knew anything about American soccer that Tormenta was a force in League Two, and everything from top to bottom was done so professionally that I had a good year in college and I had some other looks, but for me, I wanted to be at Tormenta FC, and I knew there was 10 other guys coming back here that I knew were bought in and they have the same goals that I do.
This is the first step of a very, very, very long journey. This is a league match. We set some pretty lofty expectations for results this year, did we not? Okay?
Getting here, okay, is a good place to be. And now, what you guys need to do is take it that one step further.
Family boys, family, family, family.
large mammal keeper here at the Tulsa Zoo. And today is an exciting day for us and all the animals. We got a shipment of sod from the Roughnecks. So every year, the Roughnecks have been generous enough to give us loads and loads of sod, help us replenish our exhibits with fresh grass. The animals enjoy it too. Right now, we are in front of the Mary Kay Chapman Rhino Preserve. We have our rhino, springbok, nyala, warthogs, and African crown cranes, just enjoying a lush green yard. So you know this grass behind us, after the players get done running on it, the animals actually still get to enjoy it. So we're not wasting that grass, we're getting to reuse it. It's another way we can conserve some things, and it gives the guests a great experience to see these exhibits so lush and so green, and seeing the animals enjoy it as well.
In about 8th grade, I realized that my knees really were hurting, and I ended up tearing both of my patellar tendons in several places.
Dr. Stanley and Tulsa Bone and Joint, he gave us all of our options, explained them, and we knew walking out that we were in the best place possible for her. From a mom's perspective, without Dr. Stanley, without his staff, we would not have been able to give her her senior year.
How was school today?
Mrs. Smith, what are you doing?
Recycling.
You can't put plastic bags in the blue recycling cart. But you can recycle this milk jug. You can recycle stuff from all over the house.
You can recycle this empty box.
What about these hangers?
Just aluminum and steel cans, paper and cardboard, plastic bottles and jugs.
Glass bottles and jars.
To learn more, check out TulsaRecycles.com.
All right, welcome back to downtown Tulsa here at One Oak Field with the Roughnecks leading 1-0 over Austin Bold. The 17th minute goal by Christian Altamirano, his 4th of the season. Let's take a look at the out-of-town scores. Currently, Hartford and North Carolina FC tied up at 1. That one's getting close to the end of regulation. At halftime, Tampa Bay, the 2-0 lead over Birmingham. Orange County, the early lead over Rio Grande Valley, 1-0. Indy 11, 2-1 lead over Pittsburgh. Coming up later tonight, it's El Paso Locomotive, one of those teams that's right there in the mix with the Tulsa Roughnecks. And then Sacramento and San Antonio, two teams that I would say are having a rather disappointing season, especially to Sacramento's standards so far. Those are our out-of-town scores. Let's take a look at the table in the West with the Roughnecks currently in playoff position. In 6th, 12 games played, 17 points, looking to add 3 more to that tonight. There you see El Paso also in action tonight. Oklahoma City Energy and Los Dos. Important matchup between those two as well, with New Mexico United a game in hand, 24 points, 2 points clear of Portland Timbers 2, and Phoenix Rising coming on as of late as well. To the east, you'll see there with Tampa Bay, hot start for them, 26 points in 12 games played. Nipping at their heels, Red Bulls 2 and Nashville FC, or SC, North Carolina FC there with 19, tied with St. Louis FC. And Atlanta United 2 with 13. They're currently in 10th place. In the defending champs, Louisville City FC, 18 points so far here through the season. Let's take a look at the team of the week in USL Championship. Lawal has stepped up his presence significantly here over the past couple of weeks, and Moore continues to dominate there from New Mexico United. You look up almost every single game that he plays in, Dave, and he's making an impact, scoring a goal.
Certainly is, and that's one of the reasons why they're top of the Western Conference, their experienced side, and he deserves to be in that team of the week.
We got to look at Jones while OKC was here at One Oak earlier so far this season. He has been quite the addition for the Oklahoma City Energy.
Yeah, they had a slow start, the Energy, and they'll be pleased with the way that things have gone lately.
Now to the player of the week in USL Championship. See a great look there at the turf. It's Matt Pickens, keeper for Nashville Soccer Club here in week 12. So congratulations to him in taking home that honor for the first time this season. While we have a minute, we've referenced some of the weather and the impact that it has had here in not only Tulsa, but in eastern Oklahoma as well. And we were talking about the local soccer clubs that have had the impact. You see here some of the images. That's the water there flowing underneath the Arkansas River Bridge and the homes that have been affected. This is not just in the city of Tulsa. There's downtown Tulsa, but the river here in the city was well over flood stage in the mid-20s. Down the river a few miles from here in the Muskogee area, what, Dave, 30, 40 miles from here, it's been as high as 45 feet above flood level, and it's just utter devastation. The Red Cross has moved in. The entire state of Oklahoma, all 77 counties have been declared a state of emergency. And this broadcast is dedicated to all of those people that have been affected by this. And Dave, it's not just families that have been uprooted and their homes damaged and maybe completely destroyed, but so many people have stepped up to help each other. There was an area at the Tulsa Fairgrounds where you could go and you could board your animals for free. They would take care of your animals if your house happened to be flooded and you had to be evacuated from there. Everyone's stepping up, and it's all done through donations. And the one thing in this state that you are aware of now after being here for a number of years is this state takes care of each other unlike any other state that I've ever seen or been a part of. We have each other's backs because we've been through severe weather situations in the past, whether it's tornadoes. We've had our fair share of those, 41 now confirmed in the past 2 weeks here on the ground in Oklahoma. But this state is at its best when we stand up for each other, and that's what we've seen, some tremendous caring and giving going on with everything that's happened.
Echo everything you said. I've seen it for myself. Muskogee has been hit badly. There are 3 rivers that culminate in Muskogee, and that's part of the reason why they've had the terrible flooding. But I've heard wonderful stories of people I know personally who've come together and said, right, community action, here we go. It's unfortunate. People have lost their homes temporarily. We hope some have been washed away, and we just feel for them. But the human resource, when you put people together, they love each other and they work for each other, and that's exactly what we've seen in this state of Oklahoma. So all the best to everybody who's struggling with that, and thoughts, prayers are with you, but also, more importantly, practical help is with them too.
Absolutely, and the water has started to recede a bit. We were talking levels of water being let out through the dam system here in the state at something we haven't seen ever for some of them. Others, the highest that it's been since 1986. So the waters have started to drop a bit. Here's what we're concerned about here locally in the next week is where the forecast says anywhere between 4 and 5 more inches of rain, and we just can't handle that right now. And all of us are trying to keep smiles on our faces as we move forward. And if you're out there and you want to say a quick prayer or have any thoughts for any of us here in this area, is just please pray for no more rain here over the next week, because our rivers and lakes just cannot hold any more significant amount of water, and far too many people have already been impacted. So again, everyone that's been impacted by this, all of us here at the Roughnecks are thinking about you, and you are not alone. There are a lot of people that have reached out to help as much as they possibly could. Well, Dave, as we get set to go back to the second half here, some of your thoughts on, we'll start first with the visiting side, maybe what those conversations were like in at halftime.
I think it will be continue as you are, possession of the football. You've had the lion's share of the possession. We just need an end product for the Austin Bold team, and that's what I'm sure the coach will be saying. We've talked about the experience. They've got a very experienced side up against a more inexperienced Roughneck side, and we'll break off because here they come.
With an early opportunity to flick on, and a tremendous defensive effort there from Cyprian Hedrick to potentially save a game-tying goal, as Lima would have had a direct blast. And quickly to the opposite end, here's DaCosta. DaCosta has help to the outside. It's Altamirano, the goal scorer. One touch there inside the 18, a misfire there from him, and finally cleared out of the box.
Well, what an explosive start to this second half. We've been playing 35 seconds, and both teams have had an opportunity blocked on goal. And, you know, this could be a tremendous second half. We were just going back to what the coaches would have said. Of course, Coach Ensign will be saying, you know, you've got to get more control of the ball and you've got to get that second goal.
Cyprian Hedrick with maybe one of the biggest plays so far of this game is a shove there in the back. Josue Sotu kind of pushed Altamirano down. Right there on the baseball surface. He is holding his right knee.
Yeah, it's a little shove from Soto. A lot of the Austin Bold players were talking to the referee as they were coming off the field in the second half.
Altamirano sits up as Jonathan Milwee makes his way all the way across the pitch now to administer some assistance. This injury update brought to you by Tulsa Bone and Joint. TulsaBoneandJoint.com, moving life forward. Altamirano is okay. Was able to wave off Mr. Milwee. That is a good sign. Just from the looks at it, look, his cleat got stuck there in the turf as after the shove and took an extra tumble.
Altamirano just has to come off the field because I guess he finished off the field, so the referee has to wave him on.
Curling ball from DaCosta. That one's off the top of the bar.
Well, Restrepo is a very fine goalkeeper, but even he would have been panicking there, because you'll see the replay here. This is DaCosta's left-footed free kick, and you'll see it come in here, look, and bounce on top of the bar.
Wow. You could have gone ahead and given him goal of the year on that one if it would have found its way. Slipped through, Silva, Restrepo, Yadu Silva finishes it off. And the 2-goal lead for the Roughnecks here in the 48th minute as Janu Silva beats Restrepo. And the Roughnecks now in front by 2.
What a strange start to this second half, and it was a strange goal, which Mr. Silva will take his 5th of the season. He rounded Restrepo. Even with his touch around Restrepo, you just wonder whether he'd gone slightly too far. But there he is celebrating with the trainer and looking to the skies and saying thank you very much for the misfortune there from the Austin Bold defender. We'll see it on the replay. It's one of those goals that goal scorers will take because they've got to be alert at any time, and that one just fell nicely to him. And now Austin Bold have a bit of a mountain to climb. Here it is. They're just taking it a little bit too far. Restrepo couldn't do anything. Restrepo looking in this defence. Just one of those goals that comes out of nothing, and it's 2-0 now to the Roughnecks.
Well, extremely lackadaisical play from the back line there from the Austin Bold, which led to that goal from Janu Silva. And you mentioned his 5th. That's incredibly important to the Roughnecks in moving forward, is how Silva has come alive here over the past month of the season, Dave. There's a blast from distance, and that one just missed as Steidehar was diving to the turf.
Well, it just shows you how quickly things can change, and that was a tremendous hit from Guadarramara, with a tremendous hit from, 30 yards out there, straight up the other end. Here you'll see it come down to him here from Lima. What a hit that is, and Steidehar will say, well, I had it covered, but it just went past the post. Tremendous hit.
Had smoke coming off of it. It was settled with the chest and off the first touch. Altamirano trying to use his speed there, could not get around Sotu. Gave him a little shove as well on his way through. Sometimes you never know, an attempt like that from distance might spark some life here for the visitors. There's Isaac on Premier trying to save it, but to the feet of Isaac, and he runs into the defender right at the edge of the box. That's going to be on Cyprian, and you saw Cyprian with a little wry smile there. The captain, who's already on 1 yellow, has to be extremely careful with anything that he might say in that moment. But those are two big bodies that also made a collision.
Yeah, I think that's Hedrick there just stepping in the line there. And it's given Austin Bolt an opportunity here.
On the second run up, headed free. McKinday was the defender there. Baez, Steidehar out, has it, picks it out of the air. Then tiptoes there towards the line. Great ball from Altamirano. Rodrigo da Costa trying to run onto it. Good defending as well. Coming back there from the midfield. Saramutin, the Russian, doing everything that he could to stop that probe there from the Roughnecks. And now a foul, an extremely dangerous portion of the pitch here in favor of the Roughnecks here in the 52nd minute. And we are off to quite the start here in the opening moments of the second half.
Well, we'll see the foul here. And there was a flailing arm there, you'd have to say. Referee right there and saw it. No card produced, and Rodrigo da Costa did take one in the face there. I think he's okay, and when he picks himself up, he'll realise that there is an opportunity to get one on frame here.
Here's Mr. Tierpak.
Well, we mentioned in the first half that we'd see this guy. He's a quality act, and I think you'll see him.
Dave, he's been a roughneck killer in the past, going back to his days from the Aztecs all the way through Sporting. Well, I apologize, not Sporting, but
he's certainly scored goals here at One Oak.
Park.
And at Swope Park, you know, he's been a thorn in the side. So is he going to do the same for Austin Bolt? Free kick.
Rodrigo da Costa, well off frame. Better efforts in the past from 16.
Tierpak's gone on the left-hand side.
This is his 9th appearance so far. 407 minutes coming in on the season. Spent last year in Nashville. Coming up on 100 appearances inside the USL is Mr. Tierpak, still at the age of 26.
Yes, you talk about experience with age, but you also, there's a lot of players in their 20s who are getting up in the hundreds for the USL now, aren't they?
Always felt like with everything that was going on with Chivas USA that Tierpak didn't necessarily get a fair shake with the drama surrounding that club at the time. Throw in here for Tulsa. Fans, the USL has unveiled its elite youth platform, the USL Academy. This allows clubs at all levels across the USL to develop its local youth and compete at the highest level across the United States. Tierpak now. One-touch ball across the face of the goal. Roughnecks get to it first. Mom Premier has a chance to run onto it. Baez. Ball in there looking centrally, and it will now be a corner for Austin. For more information, you can visit uslsoccer.com/academy, by the way, on the new USL Academy.
Red Crown Credit Union corner here for the Bold as they attack Steidehar's goal. Referee has to sort out a little bit of pushing and shoving. You always get one talking from the referee.
First time we've seen that so far tonight on a corner kick. Curling ball, Tierpak. Not much on it.
But that ball just a few moments ago, Chris Tirpak, you know, that's his quality.
Yes.
One touch, left-footed ball, great ball across. There's just nobody on the end of it.
Tirpak, the Dripping Springs native. Here he is one more time. Little chip there with the left. Steidehar wanted to go quickly, then puts on the brakes. Full halt there for Mason. Steidehar's been good in coming over on loan from Orlando. And you watch him now, you just watch his body language. You can tell that I think he's kind of settled in to the Roughnecks. Kind of settled in, you know, in this opportunity now in his career. Having to come back from his battle with cancer. He just kind of has that extra bounce in his step. You can tell that this is kind of his place right now.
Well, and you get to know your two centre-backs pretty well, and Marlon Roberts and Cyprian Hedrick have been Mike Hensey and the coach's preferred centre-back pairing now for a long time. There's Cyprian Hedrick, just uncharacteristic slice out of touch, but that's improves the keeper's confidence and your centre-back's confidence. You've got a keeper behind that's talking to you the whole time. I have to say, you can't really fault the back four of Austin Bold. They've been done on two goals that really aren't their fault. Here come the Roughnecks again.
Silva from the corner. The 18-yard box. DaCosta. Off the deflection, there were 3 Austin Bold players that were there. Tirpak not able to do much with it there. Altamirano has a goal here in the 17th minute. Skips off of McFarland. Silva. Put the Roughnecks in front by 2. Montpremier with the turn. Rodrigo DaCosta. The turn, the left-footed shot. He was in tight quarters. And Taylor was the defender there.
Yeah, and I think Montpremier was saying to DaCosta, why didn't you just 1-2 it with me? I would have been right in. But I think, to be fair to DaCosta, I think Montpremier might have been offside. But going back to my previous point, you know, you can't fault the likes of McFarland, Akugo and Taylor tonight. They've done really well. The first goal we possibly think was a sort of sliced hit. The second goal, okay, there was a defensive mix-up, but it just fell nicely to Silva, Yano Silva. So I don't think Austin Bold fans should be too upset with their back four's performance tonight.
I thought Taylor did a great job there with DaCosta. Dead run here from Isaac. Cutting down the angle is Cyprian Hedrick. 59th minute and a corner now coming up for Austin Bold.
You know, if you're an Austin Bold fan tuning into this, I mean, you still have hope in this game because the likes of Isaac there coming forward, running at the defence. They just need someone to get on the end of one of these corners and one of the crosses or a shot from 25 yards out that goes in the top corner and you're back in the game.
Gonzalez, first defender to get there. Then the Roughnecks play free from inside the box. And then almost horse collar tackled is DaCosta. That did not set well, though, whatsoever, with Marcelo Serrano, who was immediately up off the bench. Wants an explanation for that call specifically. Remember the Bold that is down.
I think the referee's saying there's been a few fouls tonight, and I think that's one of the reasons why he's got the yellow card there. There's been this game's had quite a few fouls, probably a little bit above the average of just sort of fouls all over the field.
That's Sonny Guadarrama, 32-year-old midfielder playing for his hometown. It was somewhat of a homecoming for Sonny. Grew up in Cedar Park. Third of 4 children. Was one of the big stars in the youth leagues there. Lone Star Soccer Club. Tierpak. Left-footed blast directly at Steidehar, and Steidehar can't get there in time. And what a goal from Chris Tierpak. A left-footed rocket that caught Steidehar completely off guard. And the amount of force off of that has Austin pulled back within one. Wow, what a goal from Tierpak.
Well, we were just saying that if you're an Austin Bolt fan tuning in, you know, your side just needed a goal to get back in it. And that man in your frame now, Tierpak, has been the difference. He's come on and he's given the Roughnecks defence something to think about. And Steidehar there, you'll see on the replay here, by his own standards, will say that he should have kept that one out. But this was a venomous hit here. But Steidehar kind of had it there and then just lost it. It's one of those nightmare moments for a goalkeeper that you just want to turn the clock back a couple of minutes and not see again. Free kick now to the Austin Bold, and he's now game on.
Well, then you can't stew on that one if you're Steidehar. You've got to put that one behind you quickly. It did have some pace on it, though, from Tierpak. Took time to settle it. Let it take one bounce before on the volley with the left. Have another sub coming up for Austin here in a moment.
Yeah, Sonny Guadamara, who got the yellow card just a few months ago, being sacrificed for Callum Mallis, the lad from Scotland. He comes from a place called Tor Pitchin, and no, I don't know it in northern Scotland, my friend. It's a small village of about 500. But interesting, he came to the States aged 9, did Mallis, and he's been a citizen since 2011. He's had a good career, soccer-wise, here in the States. And here he is, on now to try and get his team back on level terms.
Altamirano slotted nicely there for Janu Silva, who just couldn't control it. Taylor sends him the opposite direction. Kleber, who receives, turns, surrounded by defenders, drops it off nicely there for Isaac. And a poor effort there from Isaac as the Roughnecks now with a goal kick. Fans, you can follow the Roughnecks and the rest of the USL Championship all season long on ESPN Plus, home to the USL, MLS, UFC, and more. Join the over 2 million sports fans who have already discovered ESPN Plus. Watch the championship live every week. Sign up today at espnplus.com.
Altamirano there just caught in the middle of the field by Taylor. Important, I'd say, 27 minutes for both these teams for different reasons. I mean, Austin Bold want to get something on the road, and here they are sitting at 2-1. The Roughnecks want this to be somewhat of a fortress here, so unbeaten at home with the Roughnecks. So it's important, as I said, 27 minutes. What's in store?
Altamirano with the impact here this evening as the flag is up. Former member of Real Sociedad. So Marathon Platense. Six caps for the Honduras national team. There for Altamirano.
I just wonder if you Mike Ensian now, Pop, coming up to 65th minute, you might be thinking of AJ, Ajayqua coming on, bit of experience, maybe for the likes of Montpremier.
I see the youngster DJ Dean is one of the Roughnecks members behind the bench warming up.
But of course, as a coach, you know, 2-1, it's a delicate score. You wonder whether you just leave things alone just for another 10 minutes. But Ajayqua, as we know, has the potential to affect the game just like Tierpak has for Austin Bold tonight.
It's always one of those battles as a coach or a manager that you have with yourself of, you know, when do we make that first move? Costa upended, and a yellow has been issued. Okugo into the books here in the 66th.
And Soto comes off, the lad that's been playing at left back. Looks like a straight swap here for Austin Bold as they bring on Faris Abdi.
Abdi had some national team experience as well with Saudi Arabia. Kleber, center circle, out wide. Abdi. Hot ball looking for Kleber, somehow settles it. Keeps it on his right foot. Across the back line. Test the opposite side now. Unfortunate there for Austin, unlucky.
Brilliant piece of play before the ball went to McFarland by Baez, who's an experienced midfielder, and he does that unsung hero work. You don't notice him all the time, but he wins tackles, lays balls into people's feet. Good player, and he's in there with Callum Mallis now. It's quite an attacking lineup now for Austin Bold. They've got 3 up front, and then Kleber just in behind.
Cuts back to the inside, has options now. Adai, the curling ball. There's a good run there forward from McKinday, using a good bit of skill. Adai wasn't able to do much with it. Goal kick now for Restrepo.
Yeah, Jeff Adai's had a quiet night tonight. Again, one of those unsung heroes. Does things that you don't often notice, but not known for his goal scoring with respect to him, and that was a shot that was wide. One of the 2 sitting midfield players, and important for the Roughnecks cause. Jeff Adai and Manny Gonzalez sit in now and foil any danger from Austin Bold.
Well, that is exactly the danger, though, that you have to absorb if you're Austin with this more of an attacking style of lineup, is that quick counter that the Roughnecks can take advantage of. Isaac turns, finds Lima. Lima was in a traffic jam. Couldn't do much with it. Somehow comes back away with it, spins away, back to McFarland. McFarland takes 2 steps back, sends it into the area. The ball and the goal! Is it Tierpak one more time? It is on the brilliant service inside the box. Tierpak on the dead run on the first touch has made things level here in Tulsa in the 69th minute. Oh, the super sub making an impact here in downtown Tulsa, and his reputation continues on as a player that has caused the Roughnecks all types of trouble over the past 5 years.
You run out of superlatives for a player like Chris Tierpak. There he is in frame, and there's the Roughnecks' heads now and hands on hips. They're just a little bit down here because Austin Bold have deservedly got back on level terms 2-2, and it's that man, Chris Tierpak. It was a wonderful delivery into the box, as we'll see here. Here's the ball in, and this Tierpak just gets in front of Montpremier there, and like any good striker does, a yard in front of the defender and volleys it home. 2-2, what a game now we've got.
You have to be able to finish on the first touch at times, because that might be the only one that you get, and Chris Tierpak has done that so far here this evening.
And now the pendulum swings to the away side a little bit. Here they come again with Abdi. Well, the first goal he got a little bit lucky with the keeper, but the second one, that's a moment of quality.
You could almost sense this kind of building towards this, Dave, as it's been not only the attacking nature of Austin here over the past 10 minutes, but it just had that feel to it. Once they broke the ice on the very first goal, it's been pretty much all Austin, maybe only a few opportunities on the counterattack for Tulsa. Now they have to completely regroup, and what does that do to the tactical nature of Michael Insian and what he wants to do as far as subs.
Yeah, and he's in deep discussion there with Donovan Ricketts there about what they should do in the last 20 minutes. Do you bring the likes of AJ Ajekwa on to liven things up front? Here's Malcolm Roberts. Tierpak on for a hat.
Tierpak onto it again.
Well, you can't give Chris Tierpak any more opportunities. He's on a hat-trick, of course. And I think Mike Ensign is just saying to a couple of his subs, let's have a bit more vehement warming up because I'm going to need you in a minute. A change is afoot.
Well, Montpellier was beat on the goal from Tierpak, and then in a moment in which you just can't afford to have any mistakes, that was when Malcolm Roberts made one of his own, and it was almost costly.
But going back to your previous point, you could see it coming. And credit to Austin Bold. They've really kept plugging away. That's a good ball from Malice here.
Directly at Stuydehaar.
If you make one criticism, just exactly what we've just seen there from Isaac, I think the coach would say better quality with your crossing into the box, because too many of them have ended up going out or into the keeper's hands. But credit, again, praising up the Austin Bold side, because they were 2-0 down. They've come back. They've made a change. Tierpak's a quality act, as we keep saying. You know, and they've got themselves back in this. And you're right, my friend. You could see it coming. And now we'll see what the Roughnecks are made of.
Roughnecks will make their first sub here in moments. Gonzalez.
Well, Manny Gonzalez doesn't have many shots on goal because he doesn't really get that far up the field. There he is in shot, and that one was, he went round about 3 players, and then there was a shot in the end just wide of the goal, but Restrepo was equal to it. Remains at 2-2.
We talked about the pivotal nature of this match for both sides, and with the 2 goals scored here tonight from Austin, upping their goal total on the road now to 5. You know, they're looking for something to kind of give them that springboard into this next section of USL Championship here in the West. They feel like if they can just get a big win on the road, that maybe that will propel them on and become a fixture there in playoff positioning out west.
Well, if they go away from here with a 2-2 draw, they'll be absolutely delighted, because being 2-0 down to fight back, get a 2-2 draw. But this game far from over, and either team could go and win all 3 points here tonight, of course.
DaCosta tried to force that one to Janu Silva. Kleber wide now. Baez taking their time. 74th minute, as you mentioned. Still plenty of time left in this one. Good diagonal ball out to Morano. A chance to run onto it. He's got a step. One touch towards the byline. The cross. Restrepo has it.
Yeah, his first touch there wasn't great. Great through ball from DaCosta, but Altamirano, by his own standards there, that first touch took him too wide, and in the end he didn't drag it back enough, and Restrepo easy catch.
Baez. McFarland to the outside there, now cuts inside. Good ball in. Can McFarland get there in time? He does. Plays it across.
Well, that was better from McFarland, who's, you know, not had so many good crosses from that right-hand side. That was a good one, but just blasted it too high for anybody to get on the end of it.
Hydration break here in the 75th.
Well, it's come at a good time for the Roughnecks, hasn't it? With 15 minutes to go, and you could argue for Austin Bold as well, because both teams will now discuss how they're going to approach this last 15 minutes. And the Roughnecks will be pleased to get a little bit of fluid on board, because they've really been under the cosh from Austin Bold here, who've really come to town here in Tulsa and come back from a 2-0 deficit and brought it back to 2-2. There's going to be a substitution for the Roughnecks, and I think we're going to see the introduction of Reyes.
Yes.
But, you know, I think an important little team talk now from both coaches again, because this one really is like a chess match. Who's going to make the move to win all 3 points?
Reyes came on as a sub against Orange County SC, Tacoma, Rio Grande Valley, Colorado Springs. He's played a total of 250 minutes so far this season. Club last year, Platense FC there in Honduras. Just trying to look at some of the other scores here from USL Championship. Tampa Bay, the 2-0 lead there in the 75th over Birmingham. Colorado, how about this one? With some rumors circling around Steve Tritchu and Colorado Springs Switchbacks FC, the 1-0 lead in the 76th right now over Fresno. Orange County SC, the 2-1 lead over Rio Grande Valley at halftime. The Energy and Los Dos are scoreless in the 32nd. Now, speaking of the Energy, you can tune in to ESPN News on Wednesday, June 5th for the Wednesday night game when OKC Energy FC travels to Albuquerque to face current Western Conference leaders New Mexico United. It's the week's best match on Wednesday night, June 5th on ESPN News.
So as we said, referee will get us underway here with 15 minutes left of the 90 plus whatever injury time will be added on. And an important 15 minutes for both these teams. I think it was Manny Gonzalez who made way, so the Roughnecks have gone like for like because Reyes will slot in alongside Jeff Adai in the central midfield berth.
Water breaks give you one of those unique opportunities as well to discuss a few tactics.
Yeah, it's one of the things that you don't often get in a game of soccer because it's 90 minutes of both teams going at each other, but it does give a chance for both coaches just to group the players around, calm them down and talk, and I wonder what both coaches said.
DaCosta out wide. Ball driven off the back. Altamirano tried to settle it inside the box, unable to do so. Lima trying to settle it there for Kleber.
Cyprian Hedrick caught one in the face there. He's down. Doesn't go down very easily, Cyprian Hedrick. I think him and Kleber were pushing each other a little bit. It all started with Cyprian Hedrick getting the wrong side. And there he is down. Luca Lobo and DaCosta saying to the referee, you know, did you see a flailing arm there?
Roughnecks also brought on Anthony Legrandre last year in Ottawa. Played a total of 351 minutes so far. Made his first start of the season against Tacoma, but has been a sub in his other appearances against Orange County SC and New Mexico United. Cyprian, by the way, wearing the captain's armband tonight with colors of the pride flag. What you see there, Dave?
I have to say, I don't know if we can get one more look at that, but I have to say, yes, you could argue it's an arm when somebody is running, you know, using their arms to run, but did he catch Cyprian Hedrick? Yes. Was it intentional? I'm not sure. I'll sit on the fence with that one, but you've seen them given, and Cyprian certainly felt a hit to the face there. It's one of those grey areas in soccer, isn't it? When you see a player go up with their arm, you know, are they using it for momentum? Sometimes you catch somebody you don't mean to. Could have been one of those. It's interesting that Cyprian Hedrick got a yellow card early on in the game for those two clashing. They've had a good battle. Hope they can shake hands at the end of the night.
This just has that feeling. There's a a lot that can transpire over the next 10+ minutes. Tripped up foul in favor of the Roughnecks. LeGrandre hit the turf. He is up. Out to Mirano. Through the center circle, almost right directly down the line. Had that one taken away. McFarland stepped in front, looking there. Kleber does not get the foul that he wanted. Looking to draw a penalty. Gave a big fist pump when he realized that he was not going to get the call that he was looking for. Referee waved it off immediately.
Yeah, one of those that you've seen given, but a lot of times you've seen him waved away by the referee. Maybe went down a little bit theatrically. He will claim that he got shoved off the ball in the area. To be fair to the referee, he had a good position to look at it.
Would you call that a little Brazilian flair?
It's been a competitive game, hasn't it, with lots of fouls. The foul count must be quite high. Here they come again, Austin Bold.
Dead run. Pulls it back, looking for the proper pass. Fortunate there, they thought maybe might have come off of the arm there of LeGrandre. That was at least the initial protest.
I think that would have been harsh if that had been given.
Incredibly harsh.
I think he had his arms down by his side, but corner it is to Austin Bold with 8 minutes left.
Red Crown Credit Union, corner kick. Leading goal scorer for the Roughnecks, Lobo, the first player on that corner, on the clearance. Looking there wide for a run towards the post. Nothing doing there for Austin, and now the Roughnecks will make their final swap. And here is A.J. Jakwa in for DaCosta. Well, thoughts on that swap?
Well, it's an interesting one. Whether DaCosta was just a little bit tired, couldn't carry on, I'm not sure. I don't think he was all that impressed to come off, but A.J. Jakwa's had to wait 83 minutes to get his chance. He goes onto the right-hand side. Is he the Chris Tierpak of the Roughnecks to win the game for them? Good sweeping up there from Luca Lobo.
Roughnecks having a hard time getting it out of their own side of the field here. Jake was not going to get there in time. Abdi. Not the movement that he prefers so far. Finally, Kleber comes. Baez. Good defense there from LeGrandre. Referee still wants them to move back a bit here on the throw. Tierpak with the header, brings it down. Abdi, left-footed ball, dangerously rolls through the middle of the 18-yard box.
Wonderful ball back from Abdi there. That's just what you want if you're a striker or a midfield player coming in.
Not have anyone there on the run-through. Lots of contact there. Steidehardt punches it away. But the defenders for Tulsa is down. Ball still in play and dangerously. That one sent well over the top of the bar. And they're going to call Jonathan Milwee on.
Yeah, that's a head injury for Malin Roberts.
Yeah, and he's got a handful of blood too. You can see there on his left palm.
And I think what the Roughnecks players were saying to the referee was that was clearly a head injury. Do you not stop the play there, referee? Question mark.
Yeah, well, it's hard to tell from here, but boy, you can see that blood there on the water that's being used there to clean off his head. Doesn't take much up in that area to produce a lot of blood, but try to get that one taken care of immediately.
Luca Lobo joining the training staff there.
We'll see where it happens here.
I think it's from his own goalkeeper.
Oh, yeah, he came through.
See, sometimes one of your own defenders or an attacker gets the worst of it.
You can get updates and alerts all year long by following your club on ESPN.com. Search for the Roughnecks and then click the follow button to keep up with the latest news and scores. Plus, get reminders on the Roughnecks' next match. Go to ESPN.com now and click follow for your club.
Luca Lobo having to go as a makeshift centre-back here with Cyprian Hedrick, while the Roughnecks temporarily down to 10 men. AJ Jacob having to go to makeshift right back and mark Chris Tier back as well. Malin Roberts still being probably not stitched up, but bandaged up on the sideline.
Sometimes it's difficult as well to get that one closed up. Abdi off the deflection. That was Reyes that came from out of nowhere.
Well, Austin Bold will like to seize their opportunity now. Red Crown Credit Union corner. Roughnecks still temporarily down to 10 men. You can just see at the bottom of your frame there, Malin Roberts being patched up.
It's a low ball that skipped through. It was a missed hit by AJ Ajekwa on the initial corner. Roughnecks now have an opportunity, and they have numbers, especially down the center of the pitch, and that ball is just too far behind the runner and Legrandre. And now they have to quickly react for a counter on the opposite end. Hedrick slipped in behind, or excuse me, Tierpak slipped in behind Cyprian Hedrick.
He's so quick, isn't he? He just got there ahead of Hedrick. No shout from, presumably, from one of Hedrick's teammates there. Chris Tierpak has really affected this game in the second half. Malin Roberts back in.
This one is far from over. We're going to have a significant amount of stoppage time with what has transpired. See Roberts there essentially with skull cap on.
And normally, as I often say, right late on in the game, there's normally one really good opportunity for one or both teams on goal.
Kleber does well with that ball in possession, doesn't he?
Certainly does. Very difficult to get around. He's just one of those guys that will hold it up. There he is again. Lima's done the same.
We have 5 minutes of stoppage time added on. Jakwa to show off some of that pace. Continues on his run, was calling for it, didn't get it back. Now it's to remain on sides. And that's the deepest penetration that the Roughnecks have had in quite some time.
Yeah, AJ Ajekwa just showing what he can do. Running through there, just wanted that ball played early. but didn't get it. And now Restrepo can take a little bit of time. The referee just doesn't want the dissent being shown there by Legendre after the foul.
He's been pretty steadfast about that the entire game. Seemingly a lot of time to get away there. And of course, if you're Austin with where you're at now, dangerous here. Tierpak and a hat trick. And Tierpak might have stolen the game here in Tulsa with a goal in stoppage time as he beats Steidehar to Steidehar's right. And Tierpak might have just given the Austin Bowl 3 points on the road in stunning fashion here at One Oak.
Well, we said just a moment ago there's normally one gilt-edged chance on goal. That one is a moment of quality from Chris Tierpak. He will take the match ball away from One Oak with a beautiful hat-trick. The first one was lucky, the second a moment of quality. That one the best of the three, a great hit, nothing Steidehar could do. And that could well, as you say, my friend, be the match winner.
Split two defenders. And Tierpak given the thumbs up. What a performance from him. Came on as a sub.
Well, you don't see too many hat-tricks in the game of soccer. You certainly don't see too many coming on as a sub. So tremendous. And I wonder whether the coach can leave him out of the next game. But tremendous performance from him. Have the Roughnecks got one more opportunity for them to steal a point from this game now?
Good ball from Ajekwa, Janu Silva. Restrepo has it covered up. Roughnecks have to find a way now to have some sort of possession. Can't let Austin dominate this here. Got a little over 90 seconds left here. Maybe one more chance for Tulsa, but they've got to get the ball.
I credit Coach Crano because he's done really well with his three substitutions, hasn't he?
Yes.
Malice has done well in the midfield, the Scotsman there. Abdi's done well at left back, and of course Chris Tierpak with the hat-trick. So well done to coach.
Pre-game study, I was going to look and see exactly through the years how many goals that Chris Tierpak has scored against the Roughnecks, because it is an impressive number. Didn't get to that, but I will look that up as soon as we are finished here, because even back in the Aztecs days.
Yes, he's been a thorn in the side, hasn't he? Where whichever shirt he's put on against the Roughnecks, he seems to find the net.
Roughnecks have to go quickly here. Adai switches the field. Grandre, first touch there failed him. Have to quickly turn and go on the attack now. Here he is one more time. This might be it for the Tulsa side. Altamirano, well wide of frame. Too much elevation. And that might have been it.
Yeah, that might just been it, as you say. Altamirano there, well wide of the target. Referee just talks to Callum Malice and says how long is left. Can't be long seconds now, as Restrepo will just take his time to take this goal kick.
And that will do it. An incredible performance from Chris Tierpak and Austin Bold, as last weekend they had their home winning record and streak snapped, and Tulsa now has theirs snapped here coming into tonight, undefeated at home. No longer, thanks to Christian Tierpak and Austin Bold. 3 big points for the visitors here this evening, as they will now leave Tulsa with maybe one of the more important wins that they've had in the regular season of USL Championship. And 2 wins in a row for them, coming off of the win over San Antonio FC on Wednesday in Open Cup. And the Roughnecks also have their 5-game unbeaten streak snapped here at home.
Yeah, I think you hold your hand up and say well done to Austin Bold. They've come in, they've gone 2 goals down. You could go right back to the beginning of the game and say it was an Altamirano kind of sliced cross come shot. You know, that they went 1-0 down, then they had to suffer that second goal where Janu Silva got a little bit lucky off a defender, but still they didn't give up. They kept plugging away, and I think I'll say it again, credit the coach, because he's made some incredible substitutions. And of course, the person that will get the the credit, of course, is Chris Tierpak, because he scored a hat-trick in the second half, and they've come away and they've won it by 3 goals to 2. The Roughnecks will pick themselves up from this. Austin Bold, as you say, an Open Cup win, and then a good 3 points here means they can get their season moving now.
Coming up next for Austin Bold, 2 home matches with Portland Timbers 2 and Tacoma Defiance before they go back on the road with Rio Grande Valley FC. And then Colorado comes in, so a good chance here of 3 of the next 4 games at home there for Austin Bold. And the Roughnecks now, after this loss tonight, will go on the road next weekend at Phoenix Rising, and then come back home for El Paso with Sacramento in to close out the home schedule this month before they go on the road to the Real Monarchs. So the schedule is not easy at all for the Roughneck side, and that's why this one stings a little bit here for the home side here this evening.
Yeah, there are no easy games in the USL Championship, and it doesn't get too much harder than going to Phoenix, does it? So they'll have to pick themselves up, and they're going to take the fans. They're going to go and see the fans and thank them for staying with them. But they've been beaten tonight by Austin Bold. Creditable performance coming back from 2-0 down. They win the game 3-2.
Well, let's take a look at the goals as we head out the door here this evening with the Roughnecks and Austin Bold, and it was a 2-0 lead all the way up until the 61st minute. Here's goal number 1 of the night from Altamirano on an incredible angle as it kissed off the post. Janu Silva also with a goal. There's Tierpak's first goal, where Steidehar maybe could have done better. Goal number 2 for Tierpak on an incredible ball, and there's the hat trick to close it out. Goals in the 61st, 69th, and in stoppage time for Chris Tierpak as Austin Bold defeats the Tulsa Roughnecks here tonight 3-2 at One Oak Field. For all of the production staff here at One Oak, we say thank you to those of you helping us make this job that much easier, and to you, Dave Saunders, as well, for a great call tonight. And I can't think of a better way to close out the program there with the Pride colors on top of the One Gas building here tonight. It is Pride Week here in Tulsa with the parade downtown earlier today. Final score for the final time, Austin Bold leave Tulsa with a 3-2 victory over the Roughnecks. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time from One Oak Field.
How was school today?
Mrs. Smith, what are you doing?
Recycling.
You can't put plastic bags in the blue recycling cart, but you can recycle this milk jug. You can recycle stuff from all over the house.
You can recycle this empty box.
What about these hangers?
Just aluminum and steel cans, paper and cardboard, plastic bottles and jugs,
Glass bottles and jars.
To learn more, check out TulsaRecycles.com.
In about 8th grade, I realized that my knees really were hurting, and I ended up tearing both of my patellar tendons in several places.
Dr. Stanley and Tulsa Bone and Joint. He gave us all of our options, explained them, and we knew walking out that we were in the best place possible for her. From a mom's perspective, without Dr. Stanley, without his staff, we would not have been able to give her her senior year.
I'm Chad Smith with Becco Contractors. As an employer, we're always worried about new employees coming to the job and not being aware of their surroundings and just not knowing what they're really doing because it's a new job site. So the partnership with Tulsa Tech has really helped us take that worry out of the equation. We know that they're fully trained and ready to go by the time they show up on the job.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.